Val Nardi pulled her 20-year-old green Subaru behind Heidi's coffee cabin, or at least what had been Heidi's coffee cabin. It had been a drive-through establishment situated along the business district in Bonnie Lake, Washington, 35 miles west of picturesque Mount Rainier. Now, it was a small vacant building Val would spend part of her day off cleaning in preparation for the next tenant. Val worked for her older brother Joe in his restaurant, Mama Nardi's Pizzeria and Ristorante, usually as a server but occasionally in the kitchen as a cook. She also delivered pizza and acted as a hostess when needed. Anything Joe and his wife Audra needed her to do. It was steady work and paid the bills, although she rarely had days off, and if she did, it was usually on Tuesday. Owning and renting out her little building was extra income. She couldn't live off it, but she counted on it. After the loss of her own business due to pandemic restrictions, she had needed a job and Joe needed help as he restructured his restaurant from a strictly dine-in establishment to a delivery and takeout facility. For months, the restaurant's mere survival had been in question, forcing Joe and Audra to reduce the number of employees. Some of the servers had already quit, too afraid to work in the public sector in any capacity. Some were let go when they couldn't agree to the new hours and reduced pay, but Joe had no choice. With other restaurants boarding their doors, he was determined to keep Nardi's open. People, after all, still had to eat. For some, although they couldn't dine in, having a pizza delivered to their front porch represented contact with the outside world. Contactless contact. Working from home was a challenge for many former office workers. For many, balancing work with children's online schooling meant finding time to cook was difficult at best. That created an opportunity Joe wanted to fill. When he, acting as brother protector, offered Val a job, she accepted, both to help pay her bills and to help her brother's family business survive the chaos of the COVID years, and to help Val herself survive her own life-altering losses from the virus. She'd spent many long hours wearing gloves, a mask and a face shield, and delivering pizza for her brother. There was no face-to-face contact with the customers, only a thank you shouted through a crack in the door and a small tip left under a flower pot. Val did whatever her brother needed her to do, occasionally for less than full wages. Joe and Audra's son Jackson also came on board. Fresh out of high school, he needed a job and they needed his help. Jobs for unskilled 19-year-olds were few and far between when so many had been laid off. It wasn't Jackson's first choice, but it was something.